Long ago, at the foot of a tall mountain, a farmer walked through his field after a long, stormy night. Among broken branches and damp grass, he noticed a large egg, bigger than any hen's egg he had ever seen. Curious and gentle-hearted, he picked it up and carried it home. At home, he carefully placed the egg under one of his hens. Days went by and finally, the egg cracked open. Out came a strange-looking chick, with stronger claws, sharper eyes, and wider wings than the others. The farmer's children laughed, saying, "This one looks funny. Its feathers aren't soft like the rest." But the farmer smiled and said, "It's just different. Let it grow." So the little eagle grew up among chickens. He pecked at grains, scratched the ground for worms, and followed the flock. Yet deep inside, he always felt something was missing. As he grew older, his wings stretched wider than any of the chickens. "Look at him," the rooster crowed. "He acts like he's special, but he can't even fly properly." The hens clucked, "Don't try to be different. The sky is dangerous. Stay with us." The young eagle lowered his head. Every time he saw other birds soaring high above the fields, his heart beat faster. Something inside whispered, "You belong there." But the voices around him grew louder. "You'll never fly. You're not meant for the sky." And so he stayed. He learned to hide his wings and pretend he was just another chicken. Years passed. His body became stronger, but his spirit weaker. Sometimes he climbed onto a rock and stretched his wings, feeling the wind rush beneath them. For a brief moment, he imagined what it might feel like to rise. But then fear crept in. What if I fall? What if they laugh at me? What if they're right? One afternoon, a strong wind swept across the field. The chickens panicked, running in circles and hiding under bushes. But the eagle felt something else. The wind didn't scare him. It called to him. Still he stayed, because staying seemed safer than trying. That night he couldn't sleep. He looked at the moon and whispered, "Why do I feel like I was meant for something more? Why do I feel like I don't belong here?" The next morning, dark clouds rolled over the valley. Lightning flashed, thunder boomed, and the chickens screamed in fear. Suddenly from above, a magnificent old eagle appeared, gliding smoothly through the storm. His wings cut through the wind, and his eyes gleamed with strength. The young eagle watched in awe. For the first time, he saw what he could become. The old eagle circled lower and shouted through the storm, "You there! Why are you crawling on the ground?" I'm just a chicken," the young one stammered. "I can't fly like you." The old eagle's voice thundered, "Who told you that lie? Look at your wings. Look at your claws. You were never meant for the ground. You were born for the sky. But what if I fall?" the young eagle whispered. "If you never try," said the old one, "you'll never know who you truly are. The storm you fear is the very wind that will lift you higher." The young eagle looked at the terrified chickens running below, then up at the raging storm above. His heart pounded. Slowly he spread his wings. The wind roared, almost knocking him down. Fear screamed inside him, "Stop! Stay on the ground." But another voice, deeper, truer, whispered, "Fly." With a cry that came from his very soul, the young eagle leapt into the air. At first he wobbled. The storm tossed him from side to side. But then something changed. The wind caught his wings. Instead of falling, he began to rise. Higher and higher he soared, cutting through the clouds. Above the thunder, above the fear. The storm that scared the chickens became his power. From the sky he saw the world as he had never seen it before. Mountains stretching endlessly, rivers sparkling like silver, forests vast and alive. His heart cried with joy, "All my life I thought I was small, but I was born to touch the heavens." The old eagle flew beside him and said, "Remember, young one, the ground was never your home. You were born for the sky." From that day on, the young eagle never looked back. He no longer scratched the earth, he soared above it. Every storm that came after, he welcomed it, for he knew storms weren't to be feared. They were the winds that carried him toward his destiny. Don't let the world convince you that you are smaller than you are. The voices that hold you down are only echoes of fear. Spread your wings and rise. Vocabulary. List, flock, a group of birds. Example, the eagle followed the flock of chickens. Soar, to fly high in the sky. Example, the eagle soared above the clouds. Raging, very strong and violent. Example, the raging storm filled the sky. Wobbled, moved unsteadily. Example, the eagle wobbled before catching the wind. Gleamed, shone brightly. Example, the old eagle's eyes gleamed with wisdom. Want more stories like this? Click the video on your screen for more interesting stories. And share what you learned in the comments.